Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I am of course back for some more of yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie for the Nintendo 64/Xbox Live Arcade on the Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, or Series X, depending on what specific system you've got. So, last time we have managed to able to, well, pretty much did a first visit in terms of Freezeezy Peak, despite the fact that we haven't exactly 100% through everything, just because we actually got one last Jiggy left, which that's why I just managed to able to actually just ended up saying like, we'll be back onto that world shortly after. So because of this though, speaking of which though, is that today for this episode in particular, is that we're going to be hitting on to the forms of the next world in a game known as Gobi's Ballet. Now this world is actually pretty cool, to say the least, because obviously this takes place in a desert of any sorts. While we're at it though, is the fact that, well yes, as you can tell, as what Bottles has mentioned about that earlier, that we might able to come across into ourselves the final move in the game. That's what appears to be something related to something a bit more speedy of any sort, and by using talent trot, just like the forms of those boots, from the likes of those, you know, the forms of Bubblegum Swamp. So because of this though, yeah, by that time is the fact that we pretty much guaranteed that we are pretty much done with several tutorial moments. But either way though, let's not get ahead of ourselves to this point, because obviously we'll just get things started in Gobi's Ballet. So, yeah, I just really love the actual atmospheric on this world, and especially noticeable the music itself is super top notch as well. Even especially noticeable about the fact that this place is super duper cool. But I digress. So, yeah, today's day is, of course, the Wednesday, I would say today it is the 26th of May, on Wednesday today, in 2021. Not much else to talk about, I'm afraid, apart from the fact that one thing that, Maxi hasn't mentioned about that ever since in his, Let's Play of, Donkey Kong 94, including myself from the likes of Banjo-Kazooie Let's Play. Recently we got ourselves our brand new trailer from the likes of Mario Golf Super Rush, and, as a result, that we'll able to talk more about that until later, because as you can tell, we ended up inside in one of those pyramids, and because of this though, before we're able to get started with this next objective, we need to grab those musical notes right here. As you can see, we need to do a matching tile game, and if you do it successfully, then you would able to get the Jiggy. So, yeah, there's not much else to say about this objective, so either way though. Yeah, with the forms of the new trailer they just came out, where it comes to the forms of Mario Golf Super Rush, they managed to able to bring in the full roster, the character roster so far, which I think they'll able to give us a grand total of 16 characters, just like in Day 1 edition from the likes of Mario Tennis Aces back in 2018. But, except the fact that it does have some cool selections, although there are some characters that have been left out, well, for the time being anyway, which I'll talk more about it until then. So basically, they did show us the forms of how the game mechanics worked, and especially noticeable some more new details about speed golf, and also they managed to bring us ourselves some more details about Adventure Golf Mode, which, from the record, it does remind me of the little bit on Mario Tennis Aces when it comes to Adventure Mode, like having some cutscenes and all that stuff with text boxes here and there, and of course they're able to bring in boss fights just like the forms of how it does it on Mario Tennis Aces, for I've seen the actual new trailer. So because of this though, and another thing it's worth noting for is the fact that they did manage to able to obviously bring some new courses to the table. Well, we've already seen the actual grasslands before, ever since the actual announcement trailer from the Nintendo Direct, and also we've already seen the desert environment, and also we've already seen the forest environment, but now we actually saw a Bowser-themed level, and even some mountain sides here and there as well, which even then though, we have never actually seen those environments throughout the entire trailer. The only thing I was expecting if they'll make a comeback is a Donkey Kong Country themed environment, because we already did that from the likes of Mario Golf World Tour for the 3DS. But as a result of that specific stuff though, unfortunately though, the DKC, well, the Donkey Kong Country inspired golf course it wasn't show up. So because of this though, some fans might find us a bit disappointed, but regardless of such though, I'm still hyped out of this. Ah, dang it. Yeah, the only major emphasis on the forms of this particular world, as you can see, if you dare touch the forms of the quicksand, much like the forms of the piranha water, and also say applies to the forms of well, and so on specifically at some point whenever we get into, personally my least favorite world in the game, which it wasn't until whenever we done with the 7th world first. But I digress. So, anyway, and as far as the character roster they bring us into the forms of the entire game, well, as I said before, there are 16 playable characters, which there are. Obviously, we still have Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Peach, Daisy, Yoshi, Bowser, Bowser Jr., Boo, Donkey Kong, Rosalina, and Toad make their return as playable characters ever since in Mario Golf World Tour. At least on the 3DS anyway. And, well, the only exception being the forms of, well, Toad wasn't exactly playable in Mario Sports Superstar, so I don't feel like trying to include that, because it's more likely like a side mode of any sorts. But, in addition to those characters make their return, we actually have not one, but 3 new ones. Well, we've seen, well, you remember the forms of, Mario, Kart, Tour? That, you know, with the fact that, you know, King Bob-omb was actually playable in that game? Well, thankfully, for the actual, true consideration for some considerable time, King Bob-omb is fully playable, and as a result, that's perfect, because otherwise, that's, well, we have not actually seen, King Bob-omb as playable. Well, at least the very first time that he was being playable, it was on Mario Kart Tour. But, even then, let's just see if we were able to find out until when, God knows, until Mario Kart 9 will be announced by then. But either way, though, dang it, I couldn't actually see because of the different camera angles. We've especially noticeable with those magic carpets just managed to get away that easily. But, oh well, what can you do? Especially noticeable because I was being so hasty at this point, so... And, yeah, King Bob-omb is actually playable, which is now true, but there's also Pauline, which is a pretty cool choice, because everyone seems to be asking for Pauline to be playable, and oddly enough, we actually got ourselves Charging Chuck. Yeah, Charging Chuck from the likes of Super Mario World all the way up to Super Mario Odyssey, I see, which, it's pretty cool to be able to actually see Charging Chuck as playable in the Mario Golf Super Rush, which is kind of it does the exact same thing from the likes of Chain Chomp in Mario Tennis Aces. Although, unfortunately though, Chain Chomp doesn't even make it to the roster at that one point. And unfortunately though, still no sign of Diddy Kong either, which that reminds me, why can't they just able to bring Diddy Kong from the start though? I mean, I don't know if they might able to do the exact same thing as the forms of how it does it on Mario Tennis Aces, where basically they managed to able to announce one new character at a time for certain tournaments or something, or maybe DLC in the future. But then again though, we'll find out during at some point during the course of next month, or later months and beyond. So because of this though, we'll see what happens there. And there's also they bring in ourselves a brand new mode, which appears to be Battle Golf. And I was like, okay, this looks pretty awesome, because it feels like a free roaming, well, kind of like a side mode of any sorts, that you can able to battle against each other within several holes, or likely specifically, that you can only able to actually win up to like 3 points or something. Even though it has been quite a few days since I actually did manage to able to look up on the forms of Mario Sports stuff. Well, at least to be more specifically, ever since whenever I managed to able to pick up, well, obviously I've already mentioned this before, that I've already managed to pick up Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color, and also Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color as well. Because the reason why I've managed to able to go and purchase those two from the start is because I like to able to do some... Well, I haven't really picked up the forms of the N64 transfer pack yet, which allows me to able to actually unlock even more characters, specifically in Mario Tennis case, that's basically that I can able to unlock Yoshi, Wario, Waluigi, and Bowser, of course. But I haven't exactly done that yet. But hopefully on Mazel will do that at some point, but not now though. So, Anyways though, so here we go, and we managed to go inside the actual Sphinx of any sort, and basically we do need to able to shoot out these blue eggs on their, well, his two sides of his nose to make him sneeze. And then when we get inside, as you can see, we do need to feed one blue egg at these little Sphinx heads. And because of that, though, we can able to expect that not only do we need to find the next Jiggy, but also we might as well able to actually find the next Jinjo of any sorts. Like, well, we'll find that once we obtain the Jiggy first. So, but anyways, let's feed the, yeah, I saw that one, Jinjo over there, so we'll, save that for later. And you have to be fast on this last card bit, because if you don't, jump at the right time, then you're gonna have to able to do this whole entire feeding blue eggs again. Unless if you're able to keep on farming them. So, yeah, that might be some consumption, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and feed another blue egg on the exact same Sphinx head, and... Oh, that was close. In fact, I got pretty lucky at that time with that specific jump. But anyway, enough about that, and let's go ahead and continue on for Gobi's Ballet. And also not to mention is the fact that we will able to actually able to go back to Freezeezy Peak once we've done with Gobi's Ballet. So because of that though, after all, that we've now actually learned all of the moves in Banjo-Kazooie, which as you can tell, that the final power-up in the game, or the final move in the game, which appears to be those little speed shoes. And because of this though, what these speed shoes can do, well, we'll find out whenever we're able to actually decide to use one, because, well, assuming after when I'm basically done with, you know, most of these objectives first. So, either way though, you probably get the suggestion by that point. So, and it feels like that we're pretty much at the halfway point in terms of Banjo-Kazooie so far. So at least expecting that we can able to actually end this Let's Play off. That, well, I'll talk more about that once we get into the forms of the next few days. Oh, god dang it, man. There we go, but at least we actually got ourselves an extra honeycomb piece and stuff like that. There's also another one somewhere, well, since we've already done the forms of, you know, putting some water on that specific tree, on, while we try to able to ground pound, you know, Gobi, the camel, and, basically that we can able to actually just defeat some water with that specific tree, and, that way we can able to find Gobi the camel again. But before we get into that though, I need to take care of this this particular going through these little hexagon rings mission. So thankfully it's not too bad though, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, there aren't any frustrating moments here and there. I mean, the only time I'm might as well able to actually just almost get myself screwed over is with these enemies, which as a result, they can really get on my nerves sometimes. But aside from that stuff though, this is a pretty cool place, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and go for this last hexagon ring before we get ourselves the next Jiggy. And yes, as far as I'm aware, that eventually in some certain worlds throughout every now and then, it's going to get a little bit more longer at this point, which is to be expected with most expanded worlds. They might able to actually go a bit too long, but hey, at least that's something, I suppose. So anyway, let's just go ahead and grab that Jiggy while we're doing a ground pound before we stop flying, and, well, suffice to say that we're pretty much at the halfway point in Gobi's Valley already, so top notch, well that will be. So anyways, let's go ahead and use this little beak bomb right onto its target, and basically we can able to open up the next pyramid that we can actually enter. So yeah, you probably get the idea what this is going, so... And of course you do need to worry about the time limit though if you're about to be entering inside the pyramids in the first place. So yeah, that seems a little bit more something, I suppose. But anyway, so in this room right there is the fact that, well, we're gonna have to able to like poop out the blue eggs, and then we can able to just feed those blue eggs onto that little pot over there. Well, not so much in the forms of that pot per se, it's more accurately it's like some sort of like a hole or something, which I have no idea what that's for. But anyway though, so let's go ahead and get this thing to it. And in fact, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. Are you excited when it comes to the forms of a brand new trailer, or have you got hyped about the forms of a new trailer for Mario Golf Super Rush? Meaning about the fact that, well, you know, King Bob-omb is now playable, which is true, thanks to the forms of certain websites. and also with the forms of Pauline to be a playable character, and to top it all off, the obscure Judging Chuck playable character, which, from the record though, I think this might be actually be the very first time we can able to actually play as Judging Chuck, which I don't think I can able to actually just to think about any game else from it before, but hey, at least it's cool to say the least. So, anyways, let's go ahead and continue things on here. So, after all, we've actually got 6 Jiggies so far. Oh, jeez, I almost gonna get screwed over with these camera angles sometimes. But, regardless of everything else, though, I'm gonna be twice as okay as I used to be. So, anyway, though, and, all he needs to do this left now is, well, just be hyped about the forms of, well, God knows until when the next The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD trailer, specifically the overview trailer of that specific HD remaster of the Wii game, and then managed able to actually have some new details aside from the fact that we might actually know the exactly the same, you know, gameplay details and all that stuff, aside from, you know, having button controls this time around though, as opposed to having like forced motion controls, well, at least specifically on the Wii version, and maybe they might be able to actually just able to mention about the forms of Amiibo support, because according to the forms of the eShop, Nintendo eShop app, on Nintendo Switch anyway, that they did mention about the forms of Amiibo, which I'm guessing they might be able to do the exact same method from the likes of Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U, like basically just use the majority of the Zelda-themed Amiibos and able to actually get some specific goodies and all that stuff, like rubies, weapon ammo, and you probably name the rest, so yeah, there's not much else to say for this point. So, and also, in addition to that, we've already got about, I would say that we've only got about, dang it. But at least we can able to grab that musical note here, but I think it might be a bit too risky, so yeah, I somehow screwed us up. But, thankfully we can able to get back up again by, you know, hop onto this little red feather disc, so we can able to actually just feed some more blue eggs onto those spank heads, and I think you only have to do it like 3 times, and when you've done that, then the actual pyramids will be fully revealed, and we can now able to actually go in there. But let's not go in there just yet though, because I am pretty much low on health at the moment, so hopefully we would be able to actually just find the actual, you know, the extra honeycomb piece. If, no, I don't want to die, I refuse to die, okay, come on, okay, phew. Oh man, that was very, really close. Although, eventually, whenever you get onto the 8th world in the game, that, I get the horrible feeling that I'm miles able to actually die a lot. Well, at least to be more specifically, you guys should know what I'm talking about. But let's not worry about that right now, just because, obviously, we are exploring for Gobi's Valley still. So, either way, though, let's go in here, and, oh, look at that, we meet up with, Gobi again, and if you ground pound its back, then basically he'll spit out the extra honeycomb piece. So, exponentially, I think we can probably guarantee that we can able to actually get our health extension, so I'll just wait here just in case if I need to get my health restored. So, there we go. So, top notch. And, unfortunately though, whenever we get onto the forms of the next 3 worlds, if we're able to keep on collecting those, you know, extra honeycomb pieces, I'm afraid that, I think, 8 units of health might actually be enough, so there's no 9th slot, mainly it's because of the UI, spacing and all that stuff, which I'm guessing that might be true, so yeah, here's the forms of the speed shoes in action, where basically you're still able to actually use the talent strut as Kazooie, and basically you can able to run fast, and that's how this power-up does, so pretty cool and pretty awesome, even especially noticeable that you will use that on several occasions, like this objective right there, that little cursed mummy hand has managed able to grab a hold of that Jiggy, and you have to be fast to able to snack it though, because if you're too slow, then basically he'll go back into the actual ground, so, or the actual sand grounds as far as I like to call that, so. And this will be especially true if we get onto the forms of the next part, which appears to be this huge pyramid. Oh, son of a... I really hate these enemies sometimes because they always try to able to strike against me if I was trying to able to get these boots on, and especially noticeable with speed shoes. Although thankfully speed shoes might able to actually just be obtained instantly, because compared to the boots that you have to like do like a split-second animation first, and then you can able to get the thing moving. So yeah, that might be the only thing it's actually worth knowing for. Oh yeah, and another thing it's worth noting for is the fact that yes, much like in Mario Tennis Aces and Mario Golf World Tour, basically that online in Mario Golf Super Rush is existent, so, or in this case, still exists. So because of this though, yeah, it might actually give me some time to able to actually play Mario Golf Super Rush by the majority of the summer. Well, at least if we're expecting to able to be waiting for new announced games in the future, specifically that we haven't got that long left until, you know, this year's E3. So, yeah, pretty hyped, and, well, you guys should probably get hyped about this too. So, yeah, anyway. And I think we've only got one more Mumble token left until we actually get enough Mumble tokens to, well, able to actually save it up until whenever we get onto the next world. That, I think the next world might able to actually get themselves the next transformation, which, I say that because either way though, that I don't think we can able to actually get ourselves any transformations for a while until, whenever we get onto the 7th world, so. And yeah, this is what the speed shoes might actually come into play for this specific section. That we need to hurry up though, because otherwise if your time runs out, then you're probably not going to make it to this open door kind of section right here. So there we go. At least I managed to make myself the way in. And basically that all I have to do is basically start to swim downwards, and here's the Jiggy right there, along with these little musical notes here and there, but unfortunately I just got knocked back by those mummies, so either way though, let's obtain a Jiggy. But when you're able to obtain a Jiggy, then the water will start to able to go ahead and, you know, decide able to come out of the pyramid, and basically it'll just flood into that specific section that normally that you're now going to be able to actually just to be safe. So anyway, let's just go ahead and grab some more musical notes, and I think we only got about 12 left, so yeah, it seems that we're pretty much almost done in terms of Gobi's Ballet. So because of that though, I think the only thing it needs left now is, of course, the last pyramid section, which does have a pretty dangerous trap, which we'll point it out whenever we get into it. So, anyways, let's grab these musical notes while we're able to actually swim underwater. So, I get the feeling that the last few musical notes is going to be the inside portion of the pyramid itself. So, but either way though, we'll point it out whenever we get into that. So here's the blue Jinjo right here. So we're even now, we only got one more Jinjo left for Gobi's Valley, which is of course the pink color variation of Jinjo. And that would be about it for, well, for the majority of the Jiggies and all that stuff. Along with the forms of some of these mission objectives here and there as well. Well, at least we've almost done with the mission objectives, because as far as I'm aware, that, again, we'll talk more about that whenever we get on Saturday or something, so. Anyways, let's hop into the actual inside the pyramid, and this is King Sandybutt's tomb. Oh, I see. Turn back and then face my wrath. Uh-oh, so it looks like it's gonna be a trap, so. And it feels like we're gonna have to go for this maze, and you can only go about a minute in order to able to actually make it out, so. Now, I get the feeling there's gonna be a Grand Tilda switch in here somewhere, which, I know it seems a bit more tricky enough if you don't know where the switch is, but either way though, I will try my best if I was gonna able to try to find, you know, the actual switch to begin with, which, either way though, I have no idea where the actual switch is. And especially it's bad enough that, if what happens if you do manage to let the time run out, then unfortunately though, not only do you able to actually come across into the actual trap of anything else like that. Oh, you kidding me? It's just only gold feathers. Ah, damn it. No, it looks like. Oh, I'm almost there. Ah, I'm too late. Ah, crap. What's wrong, Banjo? Is it tough? Let me know when you've had enough. So yeah, that's what happens right there. If you ever first time have a death, that basically Grandtilda tells you that what's wrong, Banjo? Is it tough or anything? So, unfortunately though, there's my first death of the playthrough, which means, yes, if you manage to get your time up on that tomb section, you lose a life. And because of this though, yeah, with the forms of those particular traps will instantly kill you. So, yeah, that's something I need to be very cautious about. So let's try again. But thankfully, as you can see on screen, that I don't need to necessarily try to re-grab those musical notes again, because unlike the N64 original version of the game, that you have to re-grab those musical notes again until you're able to actually decide to go ahead and find some, if you manage to decide to go for 100% completion. So, even though, as I said before, that I was originally able to play the N64 version due to this nostalgia or anything, but for whatever reason I just go for the Xbox Live Arcade version because, you know, with pretty cool quality and everything, but that's besides the point, so... But at least thankfully I did manage to finally found the Grandtilda Switch, which, if you do activate that, the actual, well, let's just say some sort of like the mummy gravestone or something like that. It has been a while since I actually did manage to experience this world. But anyway, so let's go ahead and grab the, well, the next Jiggy. But in addition to that, I managed to gather every single musical notes after all. So, even that, pretty awesome stuff. And I think the last Jinjo was in this little pot. And there's our 10th and final Jiggy in Gobi's Valley. So, it doesn't take me that long though, even though it might actually will be, due to the forms of, you know, with this maze section, on the actual tube section. So, oh well, it doesn't matter, because even then though, I pretty much exactly know what I was going to be doing, but, beggars can be choosers when it comes to doing perfect run or anything else like that, but I literally do try, so, yeah. Okay, so we basically know 100% for everything in terms of Gobi's Valley. Now, before we move on to the next world, which appears to be by the forms of a, well, let's just say a spooky themed world, basically, that's gonna come up. That's, again, as I said this before, we need to hit back onto the forms of, did my game just freeze? Oh, okay, good. Thankfully, it does not freeze, thankfully, because I just have no idea why it's triggered like that. But anyway, enough about that. And of course, we do need to head back onto Freezeezy Peak for the second visit, for not only just trying to actually just get ourselves the next Jiggy that we can't to obtain from earlier on, just because we do need to require the final move in the game, which is of course that we've already done it right now, but also is the fact that we can to actually just trying to do the final mission in Freezeezy Peak, which yeah, I said this before ever since in yesterday, that you do need to require to actually just race against with that polar bear or that little bear again. So, because this time we are now going to be doing some sort of like a tougher race, so... But then again, we'll point it out whenever we're able to go into that specific, for that mission itself. I do apologize if my commentary gets a bit iffy, but it knows what it is when it comes to, like, my commentary skills wasn't all that perfect or anything else like that, but it knows what it is. So anyways, we're now back on Freezeezy Peak again, but now we're gonna be, you know, doing the final mission in this world. So, yeah, we just have to go here. And, obviously we're gonna be face off against with, you know, this fella again, which is, I forgot to mention about his name. His name was, Bogey, which, either way, though, we do need to race against with him for the second and the final time. But again, in order to do this mission, though, is that you need to acquire the speed shoes, as you can see. And the actual race itself is pretty much exactly the same, except the fact that rather than just take control of the forms of the Warrior's Banjo transformation with the sled, so in this case, we now need to take control of Banjo-Kazooie within a speed shoes, move. So, yeah, it plays out exactly the same, aside from the fact that this mission is a bit harder than the forms of how it does it on the first time. So, yeah, you might try to get used to with it. So, but again, if you actually accidentally miss the actual slalom, like I just did right there, but, again, if you miss it too many times, then, well, basically, that you will lose instantly and you have to restart the race again. So, It might take some bit of practice, but again, if you come to a slant or something, just keep on jumping until you're able to get an extra boost of speed. And when you've done that, then you basically win. So, yeah, awesome, and you probably get the idea about that. So, and there goes the, well, the 10th and the final Jiggy in terms of Freezeezy Peak. And we are basically 100% done. So, to think about it for the actual tally when it comes to worlds remaining, that we only got exactly 3 worlds left, as far as 100% completion is concerned. And let's grab the 1-up statue just in case. So, yeah, we are done. So, either way though, let's just go ahead and leave, and yeah, before we're able to go to the next world, as I said before, that we do need to able to grab the next Jiggy that we couldn't grab normally. So either way though, we'll try to go ahead and do that. So either way though, let's just grab... Oh yeah, I forgot about that Mumble token down there. I totally forgot about that. But at least thankfully I did manage to re-grab that, or just grab that in time, so... Anyway though, so let's just go ahead and just hurry this up, because otherwise I'm pretty much low on the forms of ideas of discussing on things. But either way though, I've already mentioned about one good thing for this point today, and that is of course, although the actual trailer itself did manage to came out ever since in 17th of May, so that was about, well let's just say, 9 days ago when it comes to Mario Golf Super Rush's new trailer, so... Yeah, that seems fun and dandy and everything. So, anyway though, so let's just go ahead and ground pound the actual red feather switch, and that'll activate the disc. And by the way, it's time limit based, so it's a good thing that you do need to require the actual speed shoes in order to be able to make it for this point. Because if you don't have it, then you're probably not going to get that much time left. So, there we go, we managed to able to get there just in time. But before we grab the Jiggy though, let's smash this little Grand Tortoise eyeglass thing right here. So because of this though, that'll be for later. And yeah, we can able to actually just go ahead and fly through this little hole over there. Which obviously that's the only thing we can able to just grab, you know, the next Jiggy from Grand Tortoise Lair. So yeah, there's not much else to say. Still, I really love the actual advert calendar look to it though, because it always reminds me like a Christmas vibe to it, which still, it does remind me of that. So anyways, we now got 7 Jiggies as you can see on screen, and now we can able to, well, continue our progression. So either way though, and yeah, there's not much else to talk about. So either way though, let's just go ahead and go up here, and well, before we're able to actually just do anything, I need to basically double check what's beyond over there, even though that, again, it has been a while since I actually did manage to know every single portions of, you know, Grand Tortoise Lair, even though unlike Banjo-Kazooie, that it does take me a lot of memorization to able to go to certain places, even just trying to find, you know, a lot of Jinjos in that game. But again, we'll talk more about Banjo-Kazooie at some point during the forms of September or something, which either way though, we'll find out until then. And yeah, you probably get the idea. So even though I was gonna able to try to do something before I able to actually just to, well, go into this next world in the next video, but either way though, there might be something I need to do first. So in this case, that since we've already activated the actual you know, the note door, as you can tell already, because otherwise though, then I just want to able to make things a bit faster process here. And well, there's not much else from in here, aside from the fact that we need to do a lot of underwater swimming, so... And there's not much else we can do in here either, until specifically later on, so either way though, we'll go all the way to this little hexagon hole over there, which actually leads me to, well, I would say the next puzzle room, which actually will unlock the 7th world, which the 7th world, this is also one of the most coolest worlds in the game as well, which again, we'll talk more about that whenever we get onto tomorrow. So because of this though, yeah, there's not much else to say. So either way though, let's just go and swim up and regain our, you know, the actual air meter, and we'll try to swim all the way to this little pavement over there and jump from like platform to platform. And while we're at it though, that we finally meet up with the forms of the next puzzle picture. And what worlds do we able to unlock? Well, as you can see on screen, we actually unlocked a spooky themed world, which is Mad Monster Mansion. A pretty cool place though, even though it's almost like a Halloween kind of fest to it, which, speaking of such though, is the fact that, another thing is worth noting for is the fact that, obviously ever since about a few days ago, along the same lines as when Mario Golf Super Rush new trailer's came out, there's also a brand new trailer for the sake of the films of another Hotel Transylvania film, which this time around though is actually by the films of Transylvania, or something like that, which I'm not exactly sure what that title of the film itself is called, because I wasn't really into the films of Hotel Transylvania series, I must be honest here for this point guys, because I've watched once, but it ended up got bored out of me, even though despite the fact that Adam Sandler was actually in the part of the acting, which is okay, I mean, nothing wrong with it, but it's just, I'm just not a big fan of these film series, to be honest with you. It's not my cup of tea. But I digress. Although I might actually be biased when it comes to films of, you know, just trying to get some expressions on certain things, but you know. But anyways though, there is something over there, but we'll save that for later. So because of this though, yeah, here we are, into the actual graveyard. But before we end off this video, we need to bust out the forms of that specific cage, because, or that little gate right here, because that will actually be required if you really want to progress. So let's bust it open. And we'll suffice to say we got the endings of this point here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie. Instead, we're going to be heading to the forms of Mad Monster Mansion. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later, fellas.